marketing without a doubt is pillar of any startup. And in today's podcast, I have with me the Chief Marketing Officer of CoinDCX, one of India's largest crypto app. Mr. Ramalingam Subramanian is rich in experience and knowledge when it comes to anything marketing and public relations. Speak to him and find out what happens in his marketing brain only on the Millennial Troubles. All right, welcome to the show, sir. So personally, I've been a big fan of all the marketing that CoinDCX does. And in fact, I was going through Great Kali's Instagram handle where I saw your, paid promotion with Kali that you did. And that just made me search who is the CMO of CoinDCX. And then finally, I found you and I definitely invited you to the podcast. So I firstly want to understand from the Try Bitcoin campaign that you started to the Bitcoin Liya Kya campaign, and now sponsoring the WTC World Test Championship. It must have been a great feeling planning, executing, and then seeing the result that all this hard work has brought to you. So what are your thoughts? What's the thought process that goes behind all this?
Sure. So I'll start with the Try Crypto campaign. Okay, so not just Try Bitcoin, it was the overall Try Crypto campaign.
Yeah.
So in March 2020, when the Supreme Court verdict came in, it was very clear for us. We were one of the petitioners there in the court. The case was very clear.
Yeah.
And it was a turning point in the crypto industry, as big as the previous turning point, thanks to the circular. But then when we actually went back to the drawing board, trying to understand, right? It's almost like a second lease of life that the industry got because of the verdict. We want to understand now, this time when we do a mass adoption campaign and we try to bring in a lot of people onto crypto, right? How do I go about focusing on sustainable growth, right? Sustainable adoption, so that people come into this for a long time and not just for the gains of it, right? That was the thought process where the core team, the couple of people who were thinking about all these stuff, were thinking back then in March, right? And at that point of time, we were like a 20 or 25, 30 odd team. Okay, we're sitting in our office. I still remember tweeting some photographs of us working 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning out of our office.
Yeah.
The entire thought process was, what can we be doing? Okay. Then came the whole idea about how do I name the campaign. I don't want to push someone saying, no, go ahead, buy. Right? I don't want someone to go ahead and make a decision, invest. Okay.
Yeah.
What should I say to people that makes it comfortable for them? The decision still remains theirs, but it also makes it comfortable for people to go enter into this new age asset class, and something that can go wide. It could be people, it could be institutions, it could be media, it could be the government, and so on and so forth, right? And hence the entire name was coined. We were using this campaign for a while. Like, we did not blow it up as big. We were doing Try Crypto as a thing since almost a year before we actually took that plunge, saying, okay, now Try Crypto is our main campaign. Under the Try Crypto campaign, again, then we split it all over into 3 parts: education, making it safer, and then obviously making it simpler. Like, then we came out with the entire new product called CoinDCX Go. Over the year, we did a lot of activities. When we launched this product, we realized that there were a couple of campaigns out there in the crypto space. We had seen advertisements from a lot of our colleagues and also international players.
Yeah.
One thing that stood with us is we are selling the fundamental nature of the asset. Secondly, we wanted to normalize it. So this whole idea that this is something for the learned, or something for the techie, or something for the youth, we wanted to break all those barriers in mind, right? So one thing we did when we came up with the concept, and we worked with a couple of like, the team was much bigger, more brains this time around. We coined this entire term, "वो सब तो ठीक है, पर Bitcoin लिया क्या?" The idea was See, we started, if you see the ads, right, the people compare it to some great achievements, some great investments that people have made, some property, some value that they have. And we said, okay, all these are normal and natural for people in the in the world. But
Mm-hmm.
why can I place Bitcoin next to it? And the reason Bitcoin, because obviously it's the leader in the space. So how do I bring
Sure.
that
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
whole aspect? We also smartly used women in the first two ads, where we wanted to showcase a participation from the actual decision makers in the family. When women start adopting any investment practice, something like gold,
Hmm.
it becomes more widespread.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously the humor angle, right? We are a fun industry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about investment. It is a serious business, but it is also fun. The way in which you can enter into
Hmm.
investments. We have all the meme coins. We have all the crazy influencers out there. People
Yeah.
make different predictions and so on and so forth. So we wanted to bring in the humor angle for sure. It also helped build recall there, right? So uh, extending that to then partnering with Hotstar and ICC for the World Test Championship. Definitely a big step for
Congratulations on
us.
that.
As well
Yeah.
as, thank you so much. A big step for us, big step for the industry, but big step for the crypto community. Seeing that crypto is leading
Yeah.
uh, from the front, it was something. So these are things that we got from the community. Yes, it's
Hmm.
an advertising campaign. Yes, it's about marketing. It's about reaching out to people. But it so we did this part, but we also were present at the women's test that happened, the one of women's test that happened. We were there on ground. We were promoting there as well. Now, if you are a marketeer, the numbers don't add up, right? To sponsor a women's tournament, it is a fact.
I
But
understand.
then we said, okay, let's do this also. We are about creating awareness. We are about creating the right amount of noise out there, and there are segments and there are personas and cohorts that are untapped, untouched, and they should also get to know about it, right?
For
So
sure.
a lot of things over the last one year or so. CoinDCX
Hmm.
is almost 3.5 years now, but the
Yeah.
last 1 year has been really exciting because of the entire activity that we have been doing within India.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks मतलब बाहर से देखने की पता लगता है it's you guys are very passionate and जो ट्राई किया वाला कैंपेन था and then followed up by the next campaign which is लिया क्या बिटकॉइन लिया क्या वो एक फॉलो अप जैसा भी लगता है कि ठीक है पहले ये पूछा ट्राई किया गया and then जिन्होंने
Hmm.
ट्राई नहीं किया उनको आप पूछ रहे अभी तक कि लिया नहीं क्या so that also sort of added up
Yeah,
the you know
it was fun from something. So every time in both these questions, we have actually asked a question to the person, in an intriguing question.
yeah
So basically that seeds an idea, seeds a thought, makes them more curious about the investment, about the asset class. At the end of the day, that's the kind of awareness we want to create. People should become curious, and not because कि यहाँ पे 100% return मिल रहा है, 700%, 500%, whatever. You can do that. That's
hmm.
a feature of a tradable commodity, tradable asset. But
Yeah.
people should be here. That's where I link it back to the first point, right? Sustainable growth. We grow, but we should grow sustainably.
Got it. So on the this was the front end part of things. On the back end, how did you judge this campaign, Dry Kia campaign, WTC campaign? How do you judge? Do you judge this on the basis of numbers, on the basis of awareness? What's your metric?
So two metrics. We brand awareness for sure has improved.
Hmm.
We are doing a brand lift survey also to actually measure
Okay.
what has been the impact. Once the results are out there, we'll get to know much better. But that is
Right.
one part. The second part was more about the number of people adopting. Okay. So one thing that we realized from our analytics, from our data, was that if a person enters into three or more tokens, then that person becomes more likely to be to remain with crypto,
G.
right? So
Hmm.
our focus was that how do I increase that interest level so that they start researching, diversifying, and they split their portfolio in more than 3 tokens. So when this started happening, right, when this starts happening, we consider it to be a success, because that's the whole objective of the try crypto and the entire adoption piece. People
Yeah,
start
for sure.
now actually considering this as an asset. It's not just about making returns in one particular asset or one particular token, which is skyrocketing, going to the moon, but
I understand.
also splitting and becoming more intelligent in the way they are trading. So that's
Got
one
it.
of our core metrics that we measure.
Got it. Got it. Right. So as a marketer, I'm sure you'll agree to me that creativity, a marketer needs creative. He needs to be creative. Copies के साथ हो गया, कुछ भी हो गया. But in a dynamic, uncertain space like crypto, it's not easy to put across your message to the audience जो आप चाहते हो, because बहुत सारे restrictions obviously. So being a marketer, having that challenge in your mind, such big responsibility, and to add to that the restrictions, how do you make sure that your message is put across? What do you think is the most important factor?
So, so this is something that I believe.
Yeah.
There are creativity for sure, and discipline is the other part that a marketer definitely needs to become a good marketer. While in crypto, that this is my first time in crypto, like with CoinDCX. This is the time
Right.
I entered, and I'm one of the persons who have tried crypto. Like I'm the converted guy. Uh,
Yeah.
One thing that I felt that is needed in this industry is a large heart. Okay,
Okay.
this is something that I've always maintained. It is not just that CoinDCX is starting up, or there is someone else who is a startup and is just there for a couple of years. The industry itself is at that stage, if you look
Yeah.
at it, right? And we are discovering new things. We're coming up with new ideas. We don't know whether everything will work out there. So you need a large heart to try things out in the market, to experiment and quickly learn. So couple of things that like as a marketing unit that I have believed and I have asked my team to work on is go ahead and uh, जैसे क्रिकेट में बोलते हैं ना, go ahead and express yourself. So there's
जी.
something that we are
हाँ.
saying, like go ahead and try it out, figure it out. You will make mistakes, that's fine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Experiment.
a concept that we have in the company, right, across the board, right from the founders to the last person, that we are okay that there is some mistake, because there is no right answer or there is no set template. We are the pioneers
True.
who are making those templates. Maybe a 5 year down the line, as someone else say, I have to restart this entire journey, I might have some ready templates. But today there are no ready templates. We have to be brave to go and try things out. We
Yeah.
might make a few mistakes. We have to quickly learn from those mistakes and move ahead. So this is the third thing that I felt as a marketeer that one should have while working in this industry. Creativity, for sure. You are faced with numerous challenges on a daily basis. So you'll have to innovate, and it's not just about the line, but figure out a different way of still communicating the right message. You
Yeah.
have to be disciplined, because there is a brand guide, but there is a industry guide also that we need to follow. There is
Which is
a
constantly
rail
changing.
it is
Yeah.
changing, it is expanding and contracting every moment. So you have
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
disciplined, and then because it is constantly changing, constantly evolving, um, we need to learn from it. And it's not just we learn from our colleagues also in the industry, right? They come up with something interesting, they come up with something new. We say, okay, that's amazing work that they have done. We are happy to clap for them, because it's an industry that is evolving. It's not we cannot be saying that we are both our competitors, or we are rivals and I take you down and I fight with you. There's no question about
Nice.
that. And
Yeah.
we learn from each other. And believe me, it's a small industry. We all know it. Everyone knows everyone. That's the kind of a case. And there are a lot of good things people do. We learn from them. There are good things, good kind of feedback that comes in from them. And another interesting thing that I have felt in the crypto space is the role of the community out there,
Okay.
right? And that community gives us a lot of feedback. That community is something that like keeps us in touch, or keeps us in
Yeah.
order,
Yeah.
right? We can go really ballistic, but they keep us in order, saying, okay, this is where we want to drive it. So it's a combination of all of that. So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to your question.
Correct. But what particularly interests you as a person? Because I read one of your posts on LinkedIn. You wrote that in 2019 you joined CoinDCX, right? And it was a very sudden decision. You got a call from the founder. You went on a meeting, and then next day you are, working at CoinDCX. And right now I can see the passion with which you are working. So what is it personally for which motivates you in the crypto industry?
It's the challenge, right? I always felt, and I feel this is the same thing with others also.
Yeah.
There are two parts to this. A is the challenge that you're getting, working in this space, building an industry, building something new. And the second piece is the opportunity.
Okay.
This is something I truly believe.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you two different stories. One is what
Sure.
Sumit told me. Sumit and Neeraj both told me. And this is the second thing that I believe. The Sumit and Neeraj told us that, see, we are trying to build an industry out there. Okay. There was a wave, and wave being a catchy word this time. There was a wave, a tech wave, where we didn't build it, we didn't finance it. Okay. That was the first revolution in IT. The second revolution in IT was primarily built by Indians, but the capital was foreign. Now this is the third wave of the internet, right? And third technology wave that we can call it. The capital is ours. We have the wherewithals to handle it. The tech is also being built by us. So this is the time that we need to build that, and this is the opportunity out there. So as as a player in India, we're not just saying that we're building for India. We are building for the world, and we can actually lead that space, right? So that is one thought. Which
That's the
Sumit and
ambition.
Neeraj, yeah, Sumit and Neeraj showed me that ambition, or showed me that opportunity. The second phase, I feel. So I believe that we are at a time which is very much similar to the invention of the wheel or the discovery of fire, right? This is that kind of a technology out there, blockchain and its applications, one being crypto, right? It's going to be a very big revolution out there. It's going to change a lot of things that we
I'm
have
sure.
accepted to be, right? So for me, when I look at it, I like the challenge, because 99% of the world say that this can't be done, or this is not the right thing.
Yeah.
And I want to, in a good way, I don't want to fight them, but I want to stand
Break their
ground and
bubble.
experiment, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole dynamics that excites me today, and
Yeah.
excited me
Yeah.
even back then.
Right. Yeah, I was speaking to the VP of marketing of Azir X as well, and he also told me that abhi to kuch shuru hi nahi hua hai, and we are creating the industry. You guys are creating the industry, so you guys in a way जो 2025 और 2030 में बच्चे बोलेंगे क्रिप्टो में ये चल रहा है, you would be the sort of ground breakers for that. So for sure, right? But coming back to marketing side of it, how do you differentiate a good marketing strategy from a bad marketing strategy? Sure, there's testing, experimenting, burning money, and all that. But with the experience that you carry, what are some of your thoughts or key points that you decide कि ये नहीं चलेगा?
So it actually ends up being very simple. Okay.
Okay.
There are certain guardrails, certain rules uh, that we get to learn from the industry. We can do it by research, we can do it by experiments, we can do it through hunches, we can do it by talking to people. Right? But we get some kind of an idea. Okay, this is something that these are the basic boundaries of a plan that we can think of.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Then we go at the objective, right? What is the eventual business objective? Okay. Say for example, and this is an industry objective, adoption in crypto, having more and more
Sure.
people. So we set,
100%.
so for the try crypto piece, we set say 50 million people. Okay. 50 million Indians onto crypto, that's our goal, right? Now the boundaries, okay, are primarily certain values that we hold as a company. Okay, we believe that people should come as with proper understanding of crypto. They should be here with that
Education.
education, that kind of awareness, and we are looking at sustainable growth. It should not be that I hit 50 million and then it goes back to 10 million. We don't want to do that. Right? So these are primary guardrails, boundaries, whatever we call it. Now, obviously, उसके बाद आपका understanding of the market, understanding of, you do persona mapping, you do demography, all these things, you understand what works out there, and then basis which you basically take uh, an approach which goes to the fundamentals of marketing. You do a DSTP and you do your 5 Ps and so on and so forth, and you prepare your entire strategy basis this. Um, how do I measure whether it's working or not? So there are two ways to look at it. I can look at the results, whether I have touched that, whether I have touched the 50 million. That gives me only one information. It only tells me whether it's a Boolean logic, yes or no. But and it could, because the industry is so dynamic, it can keep on varying. So it could be that I had to achieve it say by June this year, and I missed it terribly. And there could be say 50% of the uh, uh, 50% of the cause was not because of what we were doing. It was because the industry was going in a different space. There could be other hurdles out there. So that gives me only one point of information. The second point of information is the trend.
Okay.
So we look at trend, whether we are growing, right? So again, a popular thing today is to look whether the curve is flattened. In our case, we see whether the curve, if there is a dip, are we able to flatten the dip, and then we are able to take it the other way, right?
Sure.
So these are the two things that we basically look at. Okay. So every campaign will have two results. One would be about actual, say for example, it was an acquisition campaign. How many users did you acquire? But the other piece would be how much awareness have we built, right? Yeah. How much equity have we built around the brand, which is an investment. So any money that you're spending, a portion of it goes into an investment that will help you improve your conversion rate in the future, and then existing conversion rate. So we measure basis this actual hitting the target and the trend line.
Got it. And what do you think are your moats in your strategy? Because for me, you guys stand out when it comes to marketing. मतलब Twitter में जो आपने किया था with cricketers, and then again the example of Great Khali, I think that was a master class, because he was trending like anything, right? The comment लोग कर रहे हैं, and they utilize that to such smartness. I think that was one of your moats for sure. But what do you think personally आपका moat क्या है marketing?
For us, the two things that I feel. One is definitely the team. Okay, that is a moat that I believe, because I believe that we have a very strong team that is able to think, able to execute, and able to punch above its weight.
Okay. Got it.
So that is definitely a strength that we have. And the second piece is see the overall CoinDCX brand. Okay, it helps us set those kind of guardrails. So we don't chase trends. We don't chase what's happening elsewhere. We don't chase all that. We are most likely the ones who will end up building those trends. So we believe in those ways of working. For example, there was this entire boom around, I think around 7-8 months back, when there was an entire boom around DeFi. Okay. And everyone was going behind DeFi. It would have been normal and natural for us to, we also do something there. But we said no, because our focus was sustainable growth. If I do something around DeFi, I should be able to sustain it forever, right? For the years to come. Same way around now today, the entire story is around NFTs, right? We can do a lot. It's not that hum nahi bana sakte ho product, but we believe that we enter that space, we should be able to grow that. There's a huge demand coming in for SIP. Okay, it's a very good practice. Okay, but building an SIP which is sustainable and which is good for customers it's a complicated subject.
Love that.
It becomes volatility in the market. Right? So to build a very good SIP, we definitely need to put in a lot of thought. So it's not that hamara jo R&D engine is not doing anything. There's a lot of stuff happening there, but we don't let it go out unless there is a huge amount of conviction that
Yeah.
everyone across the team has. So this is why I believe like our marketing works much better because we are able to because the decisions sometimes that we take are built around a certain brand value that we have.
वो
Okay,
discipline point भी आ गया यहाँ पे.
sorry.
Discipline वाला point जो आप कह रहे थे वो भी आ गया. You're
Exactly,
disciplined with it.
exactly. And that's what helps us. The
Love this.
product
Yeah.
team does a lot of stuff, but we ship out products which we get a lot of confidence in, a lot of conviction in, and that's the kind of thought process that we have been having for a while.
नहीं, got it. I've spoken to so many people and nobody has ever told me कि discipline is required in marketing, number one, and number two the thought that you just said कि trend पे मत जाओ, and it made so much sense coming from you. तो आपने बताया कि जो दूसरे कर रहे हैं वो मत करो, again because it's not sustainable. So definitely
We
one
might
out.
we might learn and do stuff that others are doing. I'm not saying that we may never do it, but
ये लोग बिना सोचे समझे नहीं करना है.
we should have conviction saying that अच्छा this is the right approach. This is how we should actually do it. So we believe एक बार आप करोगे तो अच्छे से ही करोगे. That's the mindset that we have, and that's what keeps us going. So whatever. So we might have gone into the entire Bitcoin campaign maybe 15-20 days later than say someone else, right? But the focus was okay 15 दिन लेंगे but अच्छे से करेंगे.
Yeah, agreed. So you mentioned your team, and I had a question for your team as well. Marketing, CoinDCX team. A company is nothing without its team, right? You clearly mentioned that that's one of the advantages or modes that you have. What do you personally look at a candidate while hiring, or while building a team in general? I'm sure you have like I saw one of your posts. You mentioned you have a team of like 20 people roughly in marketing. So what goes behind thought process that you go through?
Interesting. So apparently this is one of the questions that Sumit asked me when in my interview with Sumit. Right? So when we were having the initial chat, Sumit asked me like, how do you decide whom to take in a team?
Yeah.
I believe three pieces there, 3 points. One is whoever joins the team, whatever skills for which they are joining the team, they should be they should understand from the basics. Okay, there are 2 ways you can learn. You can learn academically, you can learn from experience. Either way, you learn, but you should know the basics, right? For example, if I ask someone कि आपको say they are here for the strategy bit of it, they should know what is DSTP, for example. Very, very simply put. Someone is here for social, they should understand what metrics work out there. Else they are here for something else, they should understand how do I measure app performance marketing in an app marketing scenario, right? So these are the basic stuff that people should know of.
Okay.
So I believe and I'm not saying you should be an expert, you should be a PhD there. You should understand the basics really well is what I believe. Because आपको मैं कोई भी situation में डालूं, you will be able to excel that because आपका ABCD बहुत strong है, right? I am not someone who has a weak ABCD but knows all the words in English. I am not very comfortable working with such people. Okay.
Yeah.
Second piece comes about integrity, right? Understand this piece. When I say discipline is important for marketing, marketing is the biggest spender in any organization, right? We are basically the cost, right? लोग तो सिर्फ खर्चा करते हैं, right? So, that's what we do. So integrity is very important, right? You should be clear that if you are putting in money, right, you should think about it as your own money you're spending. Okay, you should not. So there are situations when say I might have said, "Chalo ye kar dete," but my team comes back to me and says, "No, Ram, this does not make sense," because they feel it's their own money that they are spending. Okay, so this is very important. So integrity is the second piece that I look at. Third piece is all about working in a team. Okay, especially in a startup and especially in crypto. Because things as we started in our discussion, things are so dynamic. Okay, I have one person working for one particular piece for 3-4 months. Then I have to ask them, okay, why don't you come here? Because यहाँ पे हमारा requirement है. and you should be that flexible, that dynamic, that you say, "Okay, I will come here, I'll support this piece," and eventually work with the team, right? You imagine this piece that we are all growing at a rapid pace while working remotely,
Yeah.
right? For 15 odd months, the team has not seen each other, right? And they are still being able to deliver on required goals and deliver happily. So it's all about that team dynamics. So I check these three things: your understanding of the basics.
Integrity.
I don't like. I'm not checking. मैं ये नहीं check करता कि आपका experience कैसा है, where you worked, all those things. Those are important,
वो सब
but
तो है ही.
three make or break decisions for me is your basics, your integrity, and how you are working with a team.
Got it, got it. No, I can sense the experience that you have because I have personally seen marketing teams में हाँ यार रहता ठीक है यार बजट मिला है खर्च कर दो रिजल्ट तो आएगा देख लेंगे but this integrity part which you mentioned spend it as your own money कोई अपना पैसा खर्च कर रहा है तो 10 बार सोचेगा will this work, will this not work and all that which definitely is really important. Makes sense. So if anybody is applying at CoinDCX in the marketing team, make sure you ask this. Right. Talking about crypto space, what do you think? How deep are we right now in the crypto space? Or are we just scratching the surface, or we are in the intermediary phase? Where do you see this industry going? In like 10 years or even 5 years, whatever your thoughts.
Yeah, so ideally, Baki industries may take 10 years. We might do the same in 5 years. That is the kind of an industry that we are in.
To the moon.
Yeah, no, there are so many things that developing on a
Yeah.
daily basis. Right. Last week we read something, and that is old news by today. Right.
Mm.
So what I see happening in India is a huge adoption wave coming in. When I say adoption, it's not just people, but it's going to be companies, fintech startups, exchanges, like traditional exchanges. There would be uh, financial experts coming in as we move forward.
Yeah.
So, like us, there are others in the industry who are also training these wealth managers, these financial advisors, right? So I'm seeing a huge adoption coming in at that space. When I say an entire industry, there will be a lot of people who will be here from like fresh entrepreneurs coming in,
Yeah. Building new
academicians coming
products.
in, researchers coming in. A lot of stuff will happen. Products will be built. So the next 5 years or so, it's going to be a huge wave in India that is going to come when it comes to crypto, and this will be the happy third wave. Okay, where everyone will be happy to be part of this space. There will be much more regulatory clarity. Okay, um,
Yeah.
governments will be able to define these assets much better. There will be the split that we see today, right? Either you are here or there. Those kinds of polarizations will get blurred. There will be a third section that will come in, which will be like okay to adopt and understand what's happening here, and we'll see a lot many crypto billionaires coming in, right, in the next 5 years or
Interesting.
so. So
Got it.
I am very positive. I'm very 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 bullish about what will happen in the next 5 years. Um, and something, if I quote, there was one person in our team who just said this, like in 5 years down the line, we might see a crypto app being a native app on everyone's phone, like we have an
Facebook
email
today.
account or a
Yeah.
Facebook or something like
Yeah.
that on everyone's phone. We'll have
Yeah.
a crypto app which is native to everyone's product, and maybe it will be coming as a packaged bundled with the OEMs itself. So these are all things that are possible in the next 5 years or so.
Right. You mentioned products, crypto-based products, and entrepreneurship. Other than, I think right now people just see crypto as in trading. कि हाँ ठीक है, पैसे डाल दो, बहुत मिल जाएंगे and all that. But there's so much more, right? There's NFT and there's smart contracts and all that coming in. So what do you think is the scope from a product point of view? If somebody wants to start up in this domain.
So one thing that we were internally discussing, right? And I have my bunch of friends beyond CoinDCX also, जिसके
Yeah.
साथ मैंने previously भी काम किया है, and so we keep on chatting about this. So I'll tell you one incident, right? We tried to create an artist management portal where if you want to book a artist for a song, dance, performance, whatever, a concert here or there, we said, okay, we have a portal by which you can go ahead and do this. And we had this entire problem of of money, right? How does the payment work, okay? And how does contracting work? Because in the artist management business, it was a very uh, very unorganized space and waiting for disruption. Like very simply put, an artist will want to have all advance before mic testing. Like before they go onto the stage, they want all the money credited to their account.
Sure.
The event guy is always worried, saying that, okay, what happens if I pay entire amount and this guy does not turn up, or turns up and does not perform as he was supposed to? Like चार गाने गाने थे and he sang only 3, or चार गाने बकवास गा लिए उसने. So all these issues are possible.
Very practical,
right?
Yeah.
Very practical, right? So this could be a place where perhaps some way in which we are going to introduce smart contracts, we are going to introduce crypto, where payments in this ecosystem can work very well. With the concept of Satoshis, there could be, so for example, I book an artist for 1 lakh and I want to deduct some fund, some money because he did not perform well, for example. Okay. But I want to do it, say only a few paisa I want to reduce, for example, or 10 rupees kam karna hai, 5 rupees kam karna hai. So I have paid him 1 lakh, but I want to get the 5 rupees back. It's very expensive. Can I do it with cryptos? Can I solve this problem? Eventually, INR दोनों के side पे होता है. But this ecosystem के अंदर, we focus on micro payments, Satoshis, right? This could be a solution that's out there. Another interesting project people are working on that I know of, GitHub, right? So GitHub is very centrally managed today. How can I decentralize GitHub, right? How can I, using blockchain, ensure that GitHub पे जो code है that I have uploaded, I get ownership of that code and then I earn royalty out of it. Today, people go to GitHub and copy a piece of code, right? So this is another way in which it can work.
Interesting.
What about views on YouTube, right? We create a YouTube video and we talk about earning via views. Okay, that is one part. But what about integration with the brand, right? I pay someone to create a YouTube video for myself and I release payment on milestone based. So आपने मुझे 10,000 views दिलाए, इतना result दिलाया, I will make you one part payment, then second part payment, and third part payment. Making this entire space incentive driven, right? What this is beneficial for both parties. What if the person does not perform? Brand does not have to lose a lot of money. But what if it over delivers? Like you mentioned, Khali ke case mein, it's an over delivery. Can that be a way in which the person earns a lot more, right? So these are. I'm talking purely on marketing and tech side.
I understand. Yeah.
So many possibilities out there, right? Micro payments, quick transfer of funds. Okay. One thing that came up was the Vajra project by NPCI, where interbank settlement was done via blockchain, right? So B2B segment में बहुत options है, right? So a lot of such things are possible as we go forward. There are a huge set of opportunities. I just spoke about some things that are close to my heart.
Yeah.
But there are so many other things like Amazon.
So much to do.
Cloud, right? Data cloud on Amazon, right? AWS server. How can I decentralize that? So many things. So many things are possible once we are ready to understand and adopt this new technology and its various applications.
Got it. Right. So I while speaking to you, I just remembered the moat question. And I feel I was reading this book called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And it mentions that you need to be extremely calm, extremely still all the time, especially when there's a storm around you, right? And crypto industry is an industry when there's a small storm around all the time, kuch na kuch hota rehta hai. And then there's someone like you who I feel in the last 40 minutes speaking, you're super calm. You're like, kuch bhi ho raha hai, said we're not really bothered by it. So I feel you are one of the modes of CoinDCX marketing team in itself. Right.
Thank you so much.
Right. So this brings to my final question. this is something I ask everybody, which is 3 books and life lessons that you would want to share the audience, primarily 18 to 24 audience.
Okay. So there is this one book that I recommend to everyone on the marketing side of stuff,
Ji.
which is David Ogilvy. Okay. He's the author. One of the books is advertising by David Ogilvy and stuff like that. You can go ahead and read about it.
Sure.
There are a couple of books from David Ogilvy. It gives you a good perspective, and it explains the career of a person over the last 30, 40 years, and how marketing has evolved and how he has also learned in the process, right? So it gives you a good understanding. It also gives you a variety of so see, we always have insights. We can always do the research. The challenge comes in is converting that insight into some actionable campaign, right? That's where the creativity comes in. That's where the entire effort goes in, right? So how do you convert that into something is something I believe comes from experience and from shared experience. You read about David Ogilvy and similarly some other people. Like I got a book on Piyush Pandey and his life journey and how he came up with his campaigns.
Yeah.
It opens up your mind. So that is one part on the marketing side. The other book that I was told to read about was The Goal by Eliyahu M. Goldratt.
All right.
This is something that became a sort of a textbook for everyone while we were back in college also. And trust me, we had a test on that book. So it's written in the form of a novel. It's a very interesting novel. You will always enjoy the story around it. But it also gives you a very good textbook like way of basically managing your work. Okay, it's a book.
Understood.
It talks about this concept of theory of constraints. So there is constraints everywhere. How do you work within those constraints but still deliver? So it's a fabulous book. It's available on the internet. That's the second book that I recommend. And any good book on any good literature, okay, is I believe is another good thing that a marketer should have. English literature, ideally, not recent, maybe one of those books from Arthur Conan Doyle, like the Sherlock Holmes. You enjoy reading it, but you actually also learn how to communicate, right? So any of those types of English literature is traditional literature. The reason I'm saying that is, in today's age, our vocabularies are very limited. Okay, we are able to communicate in a lot of different languages together, mixed mumble jumble.
Yeah.
But when it comes at that crux moment when you have to come up with a word, like for example, how do you come up with try crypto? Whether is it encompassing of all the messaging that you want to do in those two words, right? This is the time when you need to have good command over your language. I'm not saying English literature, matlab aap sirf English karo. English is a business language. You can do Hindi
communication,
right? Any language, but go for the classics because that helps you communicate. A writer is able to communicate a world of emotion through a few words, right? Like I love this heading, to be or not to be, right? That title conveys so many things, and no word in that is more than 3 letters, right? And it gives you an immense amount of information. So any classic literature I would definitely recommend.
Got it.
So these are the 3 books. I think you had another question there.
Right. It's 3 life lessons, nothing to do with cryptocurrency in general. Your life lessons that we want to share.
Life lessons. Okay, interesting. So this is something that we used to always say. Nothing specific, but I always used to say when I was a kid. Okay, and I've written that in my diaries and my books here and there. That always be ready to adopt and adapt. I don't know what it really means per se, but this has given me a good understanding that, and helps a lot today in crypto. You are agile. Right?
Right. I was thinking that only. Yeah.
So that is something I believe. You need to be agile. You need to learn new stuff. Like blockchain, crypto, these I had to unlearn so many things, relearn so many other stuff to be able to work here, right? So if was not ready to adopt, I was not ready to adapt, perhaps I would not be able to be in this space.
Indeed.
And one thing that we can learn over the last 100 years or so, right? The time to come up with a new technology is contracting uh, from a decades old time to, like, the car was invented and then the next car came in after a decade or so. The same thing with the airline industry and so on. But if you see, the things are crashing today. In a few days and a few hours, we'll start seeing technology evolving at that rapid pace. As more and more people are getting educated, as more and more people are getting that kind of exposure, newer discoveries will come and new things will be evolving over a period of time. So for us, in the next 50 years, in the next 60 years, I don't know what is our lifespan going to be.
Yeah,
But we see so many new things compared to the last 50 years.
for
Right?
sure.
So this is a lesson that I feel everyone should take. Uh, the other
Adapt.
piece is the other piece that again was a question or was my answer to Neeraj, our other co-founder. So after our 3.5 4 hour talk on the first day, when we met, he said, "Yaar, ye sab jana hai, to let's just chat." So I said, "Okay, we'll just have a chat." And he asked me a few things about myself. One thing that uh, I don't know for what reason, I've never been very fond of money. In the sense,
Okay.
I should get X salary, or I should be having this kind of a car, or I should have this kind of a property. Okay, this is something that I have never been too critical about. Yes, ये सब जरूरी है, but these are all जरूरत rather than desire. Right? So because of this mindset, I am neither happy nor sad when the desires are not fulfilled. Okay. And one thing that I have seen, these things do come in. When I was trying to run my own business,
Yeah.
when basically I had no money and I was bootstrapping and I was struggling, to being in a space where, okay, now at a better position where then I was struggling. Both the states
Yeah.
remain or more or less the same. I'm the same person on both the scenarios, and that is a lesson that has helped me, because I know as an investor in crypto, buy the dip and still hodl, right? That's the kind of mindset
Yeah.
that has helped me, right? That's perhaps the second lesson.
Nice.
And I don't know, I have so many lessons anymore. So to have a third lesson also, but yeah, my third lesson would be, okay, just shut up and just keep on doing your work.
Right. Take action. Right. All right, guys, that was Ram for you on the podcast. Super calm. I've linked down his LinkedIn handle. Go and follow him, check his content on LinkedIn. Very, very interesting there as well. I've also linked down CoinDCX website. Go check it out. Educate yourself about crypto. It's the future, as Ram said. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Ram.
Thank you so much.